Howdy, folks. Welcome to this week's Ag Report. This week, we're going to be talking about murder hornets, the Asian giant hornet you may hear. This is something that was found in Washington State in December. As of now, there are not any sightings or any evidence of them in Texas. They feel like it may be a fertilized queen came in a shipping container from Asia. They are prevalent in Japan. The governor has asked Texas A&M to form a task force to learn and educate about these, which is a good thing. They're not here yet, but like in agriculture, the Texas AgriLife Extension Service was founded in 1915, and their job was to work with farmers and ranchers on a variety of different things. That may be grasses, it may be feeds, it may be diseases or insects, that kind of stuff. And to be proactive, to help share factual information with the producers that are having to deal with these things. So a couple of days ago, the chancellor from Texas A&M has announced that they have formed a task force, that they will be looking at preventative measures. They will be compiling information on how to deal with these things. So we are today joined with Lee Calvert. He is a local beekeeper for several years here in Elis County. His family has also farmed here for 4 generations. I appreciate you taking time to talk with us, and you have talked with us before about bees and different things, and kind of bringing the facts and dispelling some of the myths and things like that. So if you would share with us about these hornets, what they potentially can do, they can't do, and as a beekeeper, obviously they're not necessarily here. They may not make it here, but what are you kind of preparing for and on the lookout for?
I'm going to be on the lookout for the actual hornets themselves when they get here. They can be taken care of by us with a same wasp spray you would use on a yellowjacket. They're susceptible to that same classification of material that will kill them. The bees have a way of taking care of those hornets themselves. They basically heat them up. They surround them in a ball, and it's the same way they would they would kill a rival queen or a rival bee from another hive, a bee that was robbing or anything else that would come in, any other foreign insect that would come in that hive. They would do it the same way, because their stinger is not always effective on their rivals. They can sting us, and it's a repellent for us to keep us away, but it's not always effective on larger predatory insects like these hornets. So what they would do is, when the hornet came into the beehive, they can kill that queen. If they kill the queen, your hive is essentially dead. Even though the other bees will linger on and remain there for the next few days or however many days, they will. You could even have an egg laying worker that could possibly take over, and you wouldn't know that your hive is dead unless you went and actually found that the queen is no longer there. But the hornets themselves the bees have a way of dealing with them. We have a way of dealing with them. I think it'd be a long time before they'd be Texas, me personally. I just don't see them getting here that quick. We also, it's a little bit, we don't have the right climate for them here. We are a little hot and a little dry, as far as that, from what I understand. Now they may discover and learn something totally different with this task force that they formed. But something you had mentioned about the extension service that I wanted to mention real quick. We used to have county entomologists that would, like Glenn Moore. Mr. Moore used to be our county entomologist here for many years, and that was through the extension service. But a lot of people don't know that even though he worked for the extension service, his job was provided by a block grant from the EPA. The Environmental Protection Agency actually paid that. It was through a grant, and they've done away with that. I don't know how many people are aware of that, but they've done away with those grants, and we no longer have a county entomologist now. That was very beneficial to the farmer. It was beneficial to the to the beekeepers. It was beneficial to a lot of different groups, and I think that having those guys there to help us through situations, especially in something like this, those guys understand bugs inside and out. They that is their area of expertise, where I know a fraction of what there is to know about honeybees. They know everything, and I just think that maybe if more people knew that, they could petition their leaders to get us those things back, those resources back to the county. Just as an aside to this I think that's related. I think it's relevant to what we're talking about right now. So,
very good point. That is, and it certainly is related, because you can't be an expert in all things. You have to rely and kind of delegate some of that expertise to those folks. And you're right, Glenn was a wealth of knowledge, and was for many, many years, to the cotton growers, to everybody, in the county, the beekeepers and that. So what your feel, or what I'm kind of getting from you is, and as you know, you can go to different media sources and get different levels of anxiety about the bees and that kind of stuff. So truth be told, you as a beekeeper are not on that elevated alarm, kind of a thing. You're going to be actively looking at it, learning, educating yourself, that kind of stuff. But some of the hype of the total devastation words that you kind of see, that kind of stuff, may not be exactly correct at this time.
Yeah, if I've got about I don't know, I have to go actually physical count, but I think somewhere around 42 beehives right now. So I'm a small time beekeeper, but if I lost 2 beehives, I'd still have 40 hives. It would be a loss. I mean, I would feel it, obviously, my production would suffer. But if I could understand some of these hobby beekeepers, that only have 1, 2, or 3 hives. Mm-hmm. If they lost, if you had 2 hives, you lose a hive, that's 50% of your entire production. That would definitely hurt me. I know for sure. And if you lost both your hives, then you'd be out. You'd totally be out of business at that point.
Right.
So, I mean, I could understand the concern of not wanting to, it would hit somebody that with a few hives harder than it would hit somebody else. But, I haven't gotten a chance to. I wanted to speak with a friend of mine who keeps bees all over the country, and he wasn't available when I called before this meeting here. And I was wanting to talk to him to see what he thought, because he owns about 11,000 beehives, and I just wanted to understand kind of what his feelings were. But I think that it's one of those things we have to monitor. That I don't know if we should panic. I don't know that even if you did panic, what you would do. I don't know if there's any kind of defense you could put up against them. Anything you put up that's going to keep those hornets out is going to keep your bees out too. Anything that you put up that's going to kill them or harm them material-wise is going to harm your bees too. So it's not like we can go out and we can, like a pest control method we use on our home. Oh, we'll put this spray down here and it'll keep the bugs out. And we can't really do that because it's bugs that we're trying to protect. So I just don't think it's a problem right now. I think it could be later, and it could be nothing at all.
And like with most things in agriculture, you and I are talking about North Central Texas. We are several hundred miles from Washington State. Now, a producer in Washington State where they've been seen in December, totally different conversation, totally different actionary methods and things like that on there. So,
and they would have to cross. They would have to cross a pretty significant mountain range to get here. You got to keep that in mind too. We do have a physical barrier. We've got the Rocky Mountains there, and you've got a time in the wintertime, obviously, where the moisture's all locked up there and frozen moisture. And you've got to keep in mind they've got to be able to eat. They've got to be able to forage on nectars just like honeybees do. They're after the same food. So a lot of things would have to happen exactly right in order for them to make that trip from Washington to Texas. Now, I'm not saying they're going to come directly, but obviously over time they would have to migrate along. But at some point they're going to head in a direction to where they're going to run out of food, they're going to run out of water, they're going to run out of something. You got Western Wyoming, it's a big, wide, open, dry country. And I think eventually that they're gonna end up confined in an area somewhere, or they're gonna affect certain areas and not affect other areas. Me personally, that's what I think.
Right. Well, Lee, I appreciate you talking with us today, and like I say, this is an evolving situation, and they may this summer we may have another conversation because they've been spotted in different areas. But I appreciate right here on the edge of information coming out, trying to just give a little feedback and a little thought, and from a local viewpoint and perspective and everything there. I know it's a busy time of year with bees, wheat getting ready, lots of things going on for you. So I do appreciate you talking with us and sharing with us.
Yeah.
Y'all have any questions? You bet. If y'all have any questions, always reach out to the Waxahachie Sun, your comments or what have you. We appreciate it. Y'all take care now.